For dollars. That is what it costs to start fixing a musty house. Not 400. Not the price of a dehumidifier. For dollars. And most of it goes to something your grandfather could buy at the hardware store in 1950. I am talking about the damp that makes your basement smell like a wet dog. The must that settles into your closets. The little gray spots of mold on a corner of the ceiling that you have been politely not seeing for a year. You have probably been told the answer is a $200 machine that runs all summer and eats electricity. That is not the old way. The old way was cheaper. It was simpler. And it started with one honest question. Where is the water coming from? Here is what damp air is actually costing you. A dehumidifier big enough to do anything useful costs $150 to $300, and then it runs every single day. Every day it runs, it pulls power out of your wall. And a machine that sits in the corner is not fixing anything. It is working around the problem, and it never stops working, because the problem never goes away. Then there is the mold. The EPA says roughly half of all homes in this country have had a dampness or mold problem at some point. Half. And when the mold gets a real foothold in a basement, the fix stops being a bucket and starts being a crew. A professional mold remediation job runs $1,500 to $6,000, depending on how far it got. And you cannot see most of it. Damp air does its damage behind the wall, under the floor, in the back of the closet where you never look. That is the part that worries me most. Not the smell. The part you cannot see. Nobody in my grandfather's day bought a machine to dry out their basement. They did something smarter. They kept the water out in the first place. Think about an old farmhouse cellar. It was cold. It was dry. It kept the potatoes through the winter, and the jars on the shelf never grew a beard. And nobody in that house ever paid for a dehumidifier because there was no such thing. So how was it dry? Look at the house before you look at the cellar. The ground around it sloped away from the foundation. The gutters ran the rainwater 20 feet from the wall before it ever hit the dirt. The cellar windows sat above grade and opened in the summer. The house could breathe, and the water never got a chance to come in. That is the forgotten fix. You do not dry a wet house. You stop the house from getting wet. Every machine in the world will not save you if the water keeps coming in faster than you can pull it out. So step 1, before you spend a dime on anything, walk around the outside of your house. This takes 10 minutes and it costs nothing. Look at the gutters first. Are they full? Is water overflowing the edge during a rain and running straight down the wall? That is a free fire hose pointed at your foundation. Clean them out, or have them cleaned, and make sure the downspouts dump water at least 6 to 10 feet away from the house. They sell little plastic extensions for a couple of dollars, or you can point the downspout at the driveway. Then look at the ground. Does the dirt slope toward the house, or away? It needs to slope away. A foot of fall in 10 feet is plenty. If the grade dips against the foundation, water sits right there and pushes into the wall. Add dirt and pack it down. This is free. While you are out there, look at the window wells. A basement window well that fills with leaves and water is a puddle pressed against the glass, and the water will work its way around the frame. Keep them clean, and if water sits in them, drill a little drain hole in the bottom and fill it with gravel. 10 minutes of work. And check the sump pump if you have one. Make sure it is plugged in. Make sure it runs when the water comes. A dead sump pump is the most expensive free problem you will ever ignore. Now, for the damp that is already inside, here is the $4 fix. It is a tub of calcium chloride. The same stuff they sell in the ice melt aisle in winter. The same active ingredient in those little plastic moisture absorber tubs you see in the hardware store, except you are buying it for a fraction of the price. Here is what it does. Calcium chloride is a desiccant. It pulls water out of the air and holds onto it. You put it in a container, leave the top open, and set it in the damp spot. In a week, you will see water collected in the bottom of that container. Water that was in the air. Water that was going to be somebody's mold. Now, a few details on how to set it up, because the difference between works and barely works is in the setup. Use a container that holds the tub up off the bottom, or one that has a drip hole and a catch tray, so the water drains away from the salt instead of drowning it. The salt does its job by staying dry on top and dropping the water below. If the salt sits in its own water, it stops pulling. That is the whole secret, and it is why the cheap plastic tubs you can buy have that little grate inside. You are building the same thing for less money. Put the container where the damp air can reach it, not tucked behind a box. Air has to move across the open top for it to work. The musty closet, the bathroom vanity with the damp pipes underneath. The crawl space, the back corner of the laundry room. The attic access, the places where you can smell it. One tub per small space. What you do not do is leave it open where a kid or a pet can reach it. Put it up high, or in a cabinet, or behind a latch. And when the tub fills with water, do not pour it on your plants. The salt is concentrated in that water, and it will kill them. Pour it down a drain, throw the tub away, and set a fresh one. A tub lasts 6 to 8 weeks in a normal damp spot, and it costs about $4. You will replace it maybe 6 times a year. That is less than the electricity for 1 month of a dehumidifier. Here is the part nobody wants to hear. Half of indoor damp is made by the people living in the house. Your dryer is the big one. If your dryer is vented inside, into the laundry room, or into a bucket of water like some apartments do, you are pumping gallons of water into your house with every load. That dryer vent belongs outside. If it is already outside, check that the hose is not pinched or disconnected. Cooking without a vent fan sends a load of steam into the air. Shower steam does the same. These are not problems you have to live with. You just have to move them out. A bathroom fan for 20 minutes after a shower, the vent fan on while you cook, the window cracked in the kitchen in the summer. Small habits, and they add up to gallons a week. And here's an old one. Laundry on a line, hung indoors, will wet your house down like a rainstorm. Damp clothes give up their water into the air, and your walls pick it up. If you line dry, do it outside, or in a garage with the door cracked. The old farmhouse way was to dry clothes on a line in the sun, not in the middle of the living room. Still, air is what mold loves. You can fix half of a damp problem by making the air move. The old houses did this with windows and the stack effect. Cool night air is drier than warm day air. In the summer, open the windows on the shady side at night and let the house flush itself out. Even one window open in a damp basement, screened, will change that room. Inside the house, keep the air moving on the cheap. Closet doors open a crack instead of sealed shut. Furniture 6 inches off the wall so the wall can breathe. A ceiling fan on low in the damp room, not for you, but for the air. The science is simple. Wet air that sits still becomes wet walls. Wet air that moves becomes a memory. One more piece of air movement, and it is the one people skip. The vents in your foundation, the little screened holes in the crawl space wall. They are not decoration. They are the house breathing. If you have sealed them up, or stacked boxes against them, or the previous owner did, unblock them. A crawl space that cannot breathe is a mold machine, and it does not care how many buckets you put inside it. So you have stopped the water. You have pulled the damp out of the air. Now you have to deal with what already grew. On hard surfaces, tile, glass, plastic, a bucket of detergent and water with a scrub brush will do the job. Soap lifts mold off. You wipe it, done. Rinse and dry it after. Do not reach for the bleach. The EPA is clear on this, and it surprises people. Bleach does not soak into porous materials. On drywall and wood, bleach treats the surface and leaves the mold alive underneath, where it will come right back. That is why the mold you bleached last spring is back this fall. It was never dead. And here is the hard truth. If the mold is on drywall, or on wood that has been wet for a while, you do not clean it. You cut it out and replace it. That sounds like bad news, and it is, but it is honest news. The mold is in the material. The material is done. Cut it out, fix the water, and put in a new piece, and it will not come back. Now, the questions I know you are asking, because I have been fixing damp houses long enough to hear them all. Does a $4 bucket really do anything? Here is my honest answer. In a small space, a closet, a vanity, a crawl space, a car, yes. You will see water in the bottom of the tub in a week. That is not magic, that is chemistry. But it will not dry out a whole open basement by itself. That is not what it is for. For a whole basement, you do step 1, the water outside, and step 4, the air moving. If you still need a machine after that, get the machine. The bucket is not a replacement for a dehumidifier in a big space. It is a replacement for the corner of the house where a dehumidifier would be overkill. Is calcium chloride safe? It is a salt, and concentrated, it can irritate skin and eyes, and it is not something a pet should lick. Keep it out of reach, up high, or latched. The liquid that collects is concentrated too, so it goes down a drain, not on the lawn. Common sense, same as bleach or any cleaner you already own. Will the mold come back if I just use the bucket? Yes, and I am glad you asked, because that is the whole point of this video. If the water keeps coming in, the mold will keep coming back, and no bucket, no machine, no spray will ever win that fight. The bucket buys you time. The gutters and the grate and the dryer vent when the fight. What if I live somewhere humid? Then the bucket works better, not worse. The more water in the air, the more the desiccant pulls. You will change it more often. Same fix. What about the dehumidifier I already own? Do not throw it away. I am not here to tell you machines are evil. A dehumidifier is a real tool for a genuinely wet house. The point is not the machine. The point is that the machine should be the last thing you buy, not the first. Do the 10-minute walk, fix the dryer vent, unblock the vents, put out the buckets, and then see what is left. Most people find there is nothing left to buy. And one question I get a lot, does the bucket smell? The tub itself will start to smell like a wet basement if you let it sit full of water for weeks. That is why you check it every couple of weeks and change it when it fills. A tub that you tend is a tool. A tub that you forget is a science experiment. This works in more places than a house. That musty car that smells like a damp towel every time you get in it. One tub under the seat for a week and the smell is gone. A boat, a camper, a shed, a storage unit, the back of a closet in an apartment. Anywhere small and still and damp, the same $4 tub does the same job. If you rent, you cannot fix the grate or the gutters, and I am not going to pretend you can. You can still do the bucket, the fans, the venting habits, and the open closet doors. You can do a lot with $4 and a window. A couple more places people never think to look. A gun safe, or a toolbox, or a footlocker in the garage, where the damp gets in and the smell stays. One small container of the same salt, and the inside of that box stays dry through a humid summer. A pair of boots in the closet, a duffel in the attic, a suitcase under the bed. Same idea, same $4, and you will stop smelling your own closets. And if your basement is genuinely wet, standing water wet, do not buy a bucket of salt and call it a day. That is a different animal. You need the sump, the gutters, the grating, maybe a French drain, and yes, probably a machine. Start with the water outside. That rule does not change. So here is the whole thing in one breath. $4. A tub of calcium chloride in the damp spots, replaced a few times a year. 10 minutes walking your property line looking at where the water goes. The dryer vent fixed. The air moving. And the mold that is there, scrubbed or cut out, honestly. The machine will still be in the store, waiting for you, if you truly need it. But most houses do not need it. Most houses need the water to stop coming in. That is the old way. Still works.